Well, I guess that's that, you guys. Greed, money, it's finally won. And this past 24 hours has been absolutely shocking, absolutely crazy, and it seems like the future of this game is going to be irreversibly different for the foreseeable future. If you guys have been living under a rock this past 24 hours, you'll be shocked, maybe not surprised to hear that plans for this European Super League, or the Super League as they now want us to start calling it by, is going to become a thing. And 12 clubs, the big clubs, are looking to break away from the UEFA Champions League to become part of this new format and competition. And of course, you guys, when there's anything involving money, and a lot of money, then of course you're going to find our names headlining stories like this. And unsurprisingly, with our very money orientated boards, that they've decided that this is the best next direction for this football club to go into. And I don't know how to feel about this one, because, I felt like this was the natural direction of the game for many seasons. I've been noticing it for a very long time. Just how the influx of American business owners, foreign investors, who are able to easily just buy their ways into football at ease. The FAs, the league associations, do absolutely nothing when it comes to, curtailing this and, reinforcing some legislation. This sport has become a rich man's plaything. That's the reality. All these ex-bankers, all these ex-lawyers have taken leadership roles at these football clubs, and they're now taking it away from us. And is that going to keep happening? I just hate this world we live in, that forever a handful of people are able to make decisions that can impact millions and billions. I mean, football is that global that is going to affect billions. And sometimes I think, why? Like profit, it feels like it's just a disease. It feels like it's just like a sickness at this point. This incessant need to keep wanting to earn more and more and more. For what? For what, essentially? You want to destroy competition, the sense of competition, to earn more. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this nonsense that's been happening this past 24 hours. But for me, and I'm saying my opinion, but this is a very shameful day for the football club. The board's disgraces, in my opinion. They let us know, and I've been saying this too, that all they care about is big business, big deals, big money. That's what they're in it for. The football stuff, that's a bonus, but it's not the priority. And today, absolute evidence of this, you guys. Now, I feel like I'm going to ask you, and this is a question for you guys to ponder about yourselves and think about for yourselves. It's not something for the comment section, but what does football mean to you? Do you love the game? Do you love football? Or are you someone that prefers the content? You love the content of the game, the moments of the game. Like I said, that's not for the comments, but that's something for you to think about and discuss, because it does feel like maybe this has to be a conversation that needs to be had now, because right now, football, it's not for the fans. It hasn't been for the fans for a very long time, and it seems like in the future, it won't be for the fans at all. Now, I'm going to break down some of the news for you guys in case you want to get more details behind what's happening. And to kick things off, of course, 12 clubs right now, that's us. All the big clubs in the Premier League, of course, Liverpool. For some reason, Arsenal and Spurs found themselves in there. United, Man City, alongside giants like Madrid, Barca, Atleti, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus have decided to break away from the Champions League. All these clubs left the ECA earlier today, cementing their decisions, cementing where they are in the story. And right now, that's only 12 out of 15 founder clubs. And when you're a founder club, of course, there are massive financial incentives you can earn. Now, unsurprisingly, in a deal like this, JP Morgan are at the forefront in financing this new breakaway league. They've actually invested $4 billion into a infrastructure investment, which basically means that all the founder clubs will get a cut of the $4 billion that has been invested, meaning that that's an instant $300 million for each and every single club. Now, right now, only 3 more clubs are needed to form the 15 founder clubs, but I haven't even forgotten you guys, when you're a founder club, it means that you become immune to relegation. You're safe, you're good, and it means that you'll be earning consistent big money until, I don't know, like this league breaks away and then another one gets formed. Who even knows at this point, you guys? But right now, the final thing left is to complete the 20-man club league. 5 positions left are needed to fill up the rest of the 15 founding members. And for those 5 clubs, the irony is that for them to qualify for the Super League, they'll have to obviously go through some qualification process of themselves. So, yeah, that is the state of things right now. And of course, naturally, UEFA, they're not going to go down without a fight. Now, as we already knew, the 2024 season was going to be a massive rule change in the UCL. Now, currently it is a 32-man club competition. Now, it's going to become a 36-man club competition with no group stages, meaning that for the first parts, which should traditionally be for the group stages, it's going to be one big league table. And depending on where you fall in the league, what position you get, you will then be seeded and then put through into the knockout rounds. So naturally, this was only going to boost the value of the Champions League even more. It was going to create even more money. And at the time, as UEFA chairman Alexander Ceferin stated, he held many a conversation with Ed Woodwards. He held many a conversation with Agnelli actually being his daughter's godfather, which is absolutely crazy. And this entire time, they've been lying to him, plotting behind the scenes before this big news got leaked and released. And of course, naturally UEFA aren't happy. But at the same time, we can't forget that this is the same UEFA that has, been... It was founded by corruption. It's all about corruption. And I know what some people might think, and I actually agree with this, Nini. The reality is, in the 21st century, it is literally corruption. It's corruption city. And we seem to be okay with it. I mean, tell me one industry that doesn't have corruption in. That is just the nature of capitalism. That is a byproduct of a capitalist society, which, we all seem to buy into. So it's no surprise there. And of course, there could be potential ramifications now for clubs that decide to break away. I'm going to be interested to see how the players and the staff and coaches respond to this. Maybe not Tuchel, because Tuchel's already, announced 4 or 5 years ago that he's actually okay with potential European Super League. He's fine with that. But for the players, it could be a different story, because they could be missing out on their national team sports because they won't be allowed to participate in any European competitions. So, it's going to be absolutely massive. Crazy to see how the story does progress and go on. But right now, it feels like all the big clubs, the clubs with power, with money, with influence, they're in a massive leads. And it'll be interesting to see... I don't think it's going to be interesting at all, to be honest. I'm just completely shocked and just a bit ashamed by how things are going right now in the game. For a long time, I've been feeling like the sport hasn't really been for the fans, and it's been proven time and time again. From the moment that matchday revenue became nothing to big clubs, that was always a time to be more frugal and more wary, because I guess now the big financial incentive and push is to capture the new generation of fan. A generation that is disconnected, a generation that hasn't been allowed to go to the stadiums because, number one, it's too expensive, and number two, there's a stupid point scoring system that makes it even harder to actually watch teams form that bond, that emotional connection that many generations of fans and supporters have done following their teams. But I guess right now, that's not really important. It's about the products of football. It's about the earning potentials, and no surprise that this terrible breakaway league is, of course, inspired by American sports, in particular the NHL model. And maybe in America that's okay. I honestly, if you like competition, if you like sports, I don't see how anyone would be okay with stuff like that. But if you're a business owner, it's a different story, because one thing that these big clubs do not like is that unpredictability. I feel like I can go in so deep with this. Again, I got to do more stories behind this, you guys, to really get this frustration off my chest. But when you're a big club, unpredictability is something you hate because, you know, it's going to disrupt your forecast and it's going to disrupt your earning potential as well. You can't be having situations where, you know, a big prestigious club like yourself is, you know, not participating in European competition because you're not good enough to enter it. No. You deserve to be there because you're a big club with a ton of fans, and, you know, it's not like over the decades there haven't been many clubs who've been in that same position who then get cast out. It happens because that is the beauty of sport. That is the beauty of competition. And when you try to take that competition away, then what are you going to leave with the sport? For me, this Super League is, it's a complete travesty to the game. For me, I'm hoping it doesn't go through. I'm hoping that, you know, us fans, you know, we stand out to make our points heard. I'm sorry, you know, we are actually in control. The minute we stop funding this nonsense, putting our money, blindly supporting for the sake of, because of sentimentality, that we have to blindly support our club during whatever nonsense decisions that they want to push through. Nah. You know, I've been a fan for too long to be making that same mistake, man. I feel that there's so many positive things we can do. I think number one, if us fans can independently, you know, look to join our supporters clubs. The more members, the bigger they are, the more powerful the voices become. And, you know, with how corporate football has become, it is corporate right now. It's a big business. That's what they want it to be like. They want to follow the American model because then the value of the game is going to boost even more. And deep things like why it's not being called a European Super League, because obviously then you can then, you know, market the game. You can play games in the Middle East, you can play games in Asia, in America, etc., and then eventually become franchises. So, you know, there's a lot of cunning and planning going on behind the scenes, which has been happening for many years already. But I do feel like it's time for us fans to start, you know, protecting the sport we love, the passion we love, the game that we love. You know, there's a reason why we love football, why we're invested in it, why we spend all our time on it, why we focus on it, why we, you know, create Twitter accounts just to speak about football 24/7 every single day, every single week, month, year. I mean, that's what it's like, and that will get taken away if we keep allowing these bad faith actors to keep infiltrating the game, to keep, you know, focusing purely on their own pockets and financial success over the sporting integrity, history, future of the club, of the game. I'm sorry, it's very disappointing. It's not good enough, and I feel like if this really gets pushed through with no backlash at all, then it's going to spell very dark times and very dark days. Now, I know some may think, Nini, you know, Chelsea had no choice. You know, if all the big clubs are going to break away to join, we'd be left in the dirt, left in the dust. We can't be left behind. But we could have stood out. We could have taken a stand. We could have put our chests out, being confident, said, no, we don't agree with this. We don't like this. And I guarantee others would have followed suit and could have been changed as well. But I don't know. You know, it's just reflects the world we live in. If you're rich and you're powerful, it could be one of you, two of you, three of you, 10 of you. It's enough for you to have instant control over everything, break away and do whatever the hell you want. And, you know, this is a long time in the works, a long time coming. And complete blame goes down to all the football associations or, you know, the Premier League as well. They've only ever cared about the money side, and, you know, of course, this influx of rich investors coming in, it's a beautiful thing for everyone and for their pockets. But, you know, we can't keep allowing money to dictate and ruin this game and just destroy it for future legacies. You know, think about not only ourselves for now, but when we have kids and when they have kids. And, you know, that's how this football stuff works. That's how you pass it down your family. I not everyone sees it that way, but, you know, for sure, when I have kids, you damn well know they're all going to be Chelsea fans. I want to make sure that, you know, that my kids, one day when they come, are going to be able to keep enjoying and watching the game that I have exactly the way it is. So, you guys, there is going to be a lot more content coming out today. Yeah, I guess I'll have to do a match preview. I'm not really feeling too gassed about it, to be honest, after what's been happening. But, you know, we've got a game tomorrow. Perfect, of course. I'm sure that's going to distract a lot of us for a while, especially when we win too. But There is going to be a big discussion today with some big figures in the community, so you guys make sure you stay tuned for that today. But on that note, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and yeah, you guys, it's really dark times for the beautiful game we love.